Welcome to That Life podcast, where we talk about getting healthy and vibrant and feeling amazing and thriving and winning. And today, I got a special guest, Thomas Whitmire.
Aloha.
Amazing, amazing man. We run in the same circles. I've seen him help people with weight problems, mystery symptoms, chronic illness, autoimmune. And now I want to turn the tables on me, Tom. I'm failing in every area of my life. I feel overweight. I feel bloated. I feel ashamed. I feel guilt. I feel fear. And it's all piled on top of me to the point where my eyes work terrible, my back hurts, and I barely want to do anything, Tom. So welcome to my podcast.
Thank you.
And welcome for the opportunity to let me heal.
All right. Well, let's take it as if you just hired me as your one-on-one coach. It's part of the course that I have. It's called the Optimal Lifestyle for Optimal Health course. And that is available for you to research, preview, and purchase at Sproutstanding.com. So it's like Sproutstanding, but it's like outstanding, but it's Sproutstanding. And if you go to Sproutstanding.com/Greg, you can get $100 off because you're a viewer of this show, this podcast, and a fan of Greg Scott here. Aloha. So Greg, with the difference between what I do and what other people do, if you come to me, you say I want to work with you, is that I'm going to take a look at your entire case, your entire body of work. We're going to do an intake. I have an intake form. We're going to do an interview process, and then I'm going to deliberate. I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to say, Greg, this is what I believe is the cause of your issues. This is the cure for your issues, and this is a course to get there. And my course started as a book that I was writing. So a 756-page book that I have now turned into 14 different modules. And when you go online, you can enroll in that course, get $100 off from Greg, and then you will get a password, and then that goes to a syllabus. And then the syllabus is broken into 14 different modules, anything from supplements, superfoods, nutrition, to detox, longevity, anti-aging, weight loss, fitness, autoimmunity. There's stuff on growing and gardening. There's information that's like a cookbook or a TV show where I'm preparing meals and showing you how to prepare meals. And that's really what the course is, but it's to take you from start to finish and give you a manual for the human body. And then we will work one-on-one as well. So I believe in psychotherapy and communication. So you're going to be able to sit down with me and have live situations like this. But you're also going to be able to contact, and we'll do Zoom coaching. And then if you're at the point at the store where you take pictures, and then you can accumulate over the week a series of email questions, text message questions, and just get a hold of me of like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? But I'm always there for my clients. And the other important thing about the course is that I'm not trying to say that I'm your guru. I'm saying that I'm the coach. I'm going to bring you other experts in the field. So when it comes to treatments and therapies, I'm going to find you, somebody to do your singing bowls or your sound healing, somebody to do, energy work, somebody to do body work, somebody to be your psychotherapist, somebody else to be your life coach. And we're going to bring in all kinds of skilled individuals in this community to help you achieve your goals. And I believe your goals are ridding your mystery symptoms, losing weight, shedding the weight, ridding the weight, getting rid of your chronic sickness, and then also working on your mental health. That's where I like to start. So why don't I throw it back to you, Greg, and you tell me about where you are with your mental health.
Not good, Tom. Not good, man. I just, I've been through a lot of, self-defeating prophecies of things that I've tried, whether I could have been more prepared, or whether someone harmed me, or whether there was something catastrophic that happened, or just a blatant accident. But a lot of failures, a lot of guilt associated with that, playing a lot of bad movies in my mind. When I get into that emotional state, I'm obviously not eating well, I'm not sleeping well. So then my body aches, my mind hurts. I start to lose that mind body, spirit, and that willingness to live and that excitement. And I finally got to a point where I want to embrace something natural. I want to embrace something healthy. I can get solitude in that. I'm not scared, and I'm excited to start new routines, even though they might not be easy. So I'm coming here willing with an open heart. And I just know that you have this natural approach. And the fact that you wrote this huge book, if a topic comes up, I can go through it and go right to that topic. The fact that I have access to you, pictures, questions, personal coaching, the fact that you're going to build me this all-star team to work around me. I'm excited about that. But you're a very straightforward guy, and you're not going to sugarcoat anything, Tom. If anything, you say that you're not going to give me any good news about my bad habits.
Yeah.
So tell me about what type of foods am I going to be eating, and how do I get excited about them and get over the challenges of the cravings and the triggers and the guilty pleasures?
Well, first I'm going to say that it's not always what you're eating. Sometimes it's what's eating you. And that means that we're not just going to focus on nutrition aspect. We're also going to focus on the mind-body connection and really taking a look, Greg, at where you are historically, where you're coming from in the past. What has your passion been? How can we restore your passion in your life? How can we restore all of your social values and all the people that you hold dear to you in your life? How can we get you, planning future events to make your friends happy? And when you're planning events and making your friends happy, that makes you happy. So we're going to take a look and see what it is that makes you tick, that what makes your heart happy, and find meaning in your life. And as we do that, and then clean out the past as well, the emotional toxic garbage, and change your belief systems. But it's not just about the food. But if we don't change the food at the same time, then we're not fueling the body, we're not fueling the brain, and we're leaving chemicals in your body. And those chemicals, those poisons, those pesticides, those heavy metals, those infections, a lot of times they're making the decisions for you, as opposed to you just consciously making those, smart choices. And we're going to address that right off the bat by addressing some supplements. So we're going to fill some holes in your, nutrition profile. And I don't believe in doing blood work. So it's not based on, blood work. It's not based on body type. It's based on what's not available in our food system and what fuel does our body need to keep our immune system in check, to keep our brain or body, at high performance. So we're going to fill those gaps with supplements, and then we're going to take a look at superfoods as well. And I really believe in the power of optimal clean carbohydrates fueling the brain and the body, and that's fruits. So fruits, lots of vegetables, but really we're going to focus on fruits, potatoes, sweet potatoes, cruciferous vegetables, squash, winter squash, and we're also going to work in things like honey, maple syrup, if you're open to those, and a lot of lemon water, green drinks, fruit smoothies, and then in the evening we're going to do steamed meals, but pretty much we're going to stay raw throughout the day, because we're looking to reduce your weight, we're looking to reduce your mystery symptoms, your chronic illness, chronic sickness, your low immunity, and then bring up your mental health. And this is what we do to address those issues. And then we'll find what fruits it is and that you like, at what ratios you need to be healthy. But what we're doing is, this is not a starvation course. At no point do you have to go hungry. I'm going to have you eat the most amount of the most nutritious foods. And then when you get hungry, you stop. So you don't have to do fasting. And why are we not doing fasting? Why are we not doing exotic cleanses, exotic detoxes? Why are we just making a slow, steady approach? Is because we do not want to create adrenaline surges or excess amounts of epinephrine. The United States is full of addicts. And the number one addiction in the United States is an addiction to excess adrenaline. So people are purposely taking poisons and putting their body in bad situations because it triggers the fight, freeze, or run emotional. What we're ingrained, this fight or flight or freeze mentality. And when that happens, you shoot adrenaline. And really, we're designed to, if we find a predator, that we may have to, run away from the predator once a week at most. But now people are feeding their addictions every hour of the day. And by addictions, I mean anything from caffeine to high amounts of sugar to high amounts of chemicals to extreme heats to extreme cold. We're going to stay right in the equilibrium. We're going to eat, foods that are nutritious and healthy, but they're not going to have chemicals in them that spike you. They're not going to have caffeine and spike you. They're not going to bring you in highs and bring you in lows. And when we get to that point, the body likes to detox and cleanse slowly and naturally. It doesn't like to be forced into a cleanse, which is what a lot of people will do. A lot of detoxing is just retoxing when that happens. And we don't want the heavy metals that we're releasing and the other poisons and pesticides and abundance of years of garbage. We don't want it to recirculate through your body. We want to make sure that it's slowly releasing, slowly getting bound, and slowly getting eliminated. And I find that you're not just going to get healthy, you're also going to start losing weight and going down to your ideal, body mass index, if you will. And really, I'm going to tell it to you straight. I'm going to give you the facts, and I'm going to be, not sugarcoating as you will, and it's not going to be, just giving you good information. So what happens when you enter the medical field and you see a doctor? The doctor's usually not going to tell you that you need to stop your addictions, because most people don't stop their addictions. They just stop going to that doctor, and they will find a doctor that completely supports their addiction and says it's fine to consume this poison and this product. And I'm not going to. It's a yes or no. Yes, you consume this. No, you don't consume this. There's no in between. There's no, mediocrity or take everything, at a medium, or everything's average. We're just going to go for 10s, 8, 9, and 10 rankings, and we're going to get rid of anything that's below that. So yeah, Americans love getting good news about their bad habits. And I think, Greg, you've loved getting good news about your bad habits, but it's time for that to end.
Yeah, well, it hasn't worked, so it's not an option for me. Now it's my time. I'm excited to document it because I want to make myself extra accountable. I think accountability is big. I've had a lot of starts, restarts, and the yo-yo and everything else everyone else has gone through. So I'm excited to take it that level and be serious. I'm excited to do my consultation and then my intake and get started. Any advice, any seeds you want to plant in my head before we start this process?
Yeah, I don't want to scare you away, and I don't want to scare any of the viewers away. So I'll tell you where I'm coming from with a lot of this information. And it's important that I tell you also where I'm not coming from. So the information isn't presented because I have, a religious belief. It's not coming from a religious belief. It's not coming from a political belief. I'm not presenting just information because I like this one particular, podcast doctor or, person that has their show, and therefore we're just repeating that information, and I, am stuck to it. It's not coming from a point of the extremisms of veganism or, just carnivore. I don't put any label on the way that I eat or what I eat, because so many times that I found people are going to eat poison. They're going to consume poison just because it fits within their label. and they'll avoid perfection because it doesn't fit within their label. Like a raw foodist saying, I can't consume maple syrup because it's been, distilled or steamed, but they'll consume, raw poison, some raw poisonous fruit or some raw poisonous chemical that does their body, provides nothing optimal, just because it fits in that label. And people vote. They mistakenly vote that way. They mistakenly pick a lot of things because they're trying to protect a label, and a label that gives them identity, or a label that gives them access to a specific social group or social class. And that's one of the other things that we're going to throw out here, Greg, when we're not going to label what it is that you eat or any style of anything.
I love it. No labels, a lot of healthy food. You can eat basically unlimited of the healthiest stuff on the planet. You could start really getting involved of sourcing your food, of finding local people who can grow it for you, or planting some stuff yourself. So it's an exciting venture. Like I said, nothing else has worked. I've seen you with my own eyes help people with the weight loss and the mystery symptoms and the chronic illness and the autoimmune. And I know you could do it for me. And I'm excited. And just to tell a quick funny story, we were at lunch the other day and a lady was complaining about a skin problem. And then I was in the car with you a couple of days later and she called and exactly what you told her to do went away. Can you elaborate on that situation?
So I see clients, they go to Sproutstanding.com, they enroll in my course, and then I show them, the 14 modules, the book, the products, all the videos that I put together, but then we do an intake. So we have a conversation where I ask you questions. What's going on in your life? What's different? What's new? And I get them to drill down on maybe we can find some of these symptoms. For a lot of people, maybe they moved into a new house and it's got a pool, and the pool filter is right, 8 inches on the other side of the wall from where they sleep at night. And that's a giant electromagnet making electromagnetic chaos. In this case, in our initial conversation, maybe 3 to 13 minutes into the conversation, I was drilling down, and she was telling me she was getting mysterious bug bites. And she would wake up in the morning and her body would be covered in bug bites, and she had washed her sheets. She bought new sheets. She, traveled. She stayed at a hotel to try to avoid all of it, to figure out what was going on. Said that these bugs were, chasing her, or must be following her. So I sent her everything on bug entomology just to rule that out. And then when I looked at her skin and really got to the bottom of it, I looked her in the eyes and I said, have you considered this not something external that's puncturing your skin and something's going in, that you're putting something in your body and your skin's ejecting it out, which is very common. And I went through a list of possibilities, with the first thing thinking toxic heavy metals. And I asked her if she's consuming, any avenue of the highly toxic forms of mercury, copper, aluminum, lead, cadmium, barium, toxic heavy metals. And lo and behold, in that initial conversation, in the second question, she had consuming high amounts of copper. And when we consume high amounts of copper in our body, as well at the same time as consuming high amounts of silver, that can lead to a toxic heavy metal overdose, toxicity, and the body wants to eject that metal out as fast as possible, and it was ejecting it out. And she was attributing it to bug bites, when in reality, she was just taking bad supplements and had gotten bad advice. And even before a lot of the other things that we're going to do to improve her life arrived at her house, we had a grasp on what we thought it was. And a week later, the same day I saw you, we were standing there together, and she gave praise that her issue had gone away. And she testified to an entire audience that one session with me was the reason. And I don't know if we can do that with you.
I'm a patient man.
with a lot of your mystery symptoms, autoimmune issues, I think we can get rid of it fast with a lot of, proper supplementation, superfoods, fitness, detoxing.
I hope so, man, because it's been a rough road because the eyesight gets bad, the back gets bad, you feel bloated all the time and heavy and nothing fits and there's no motivation to move and then everything seems difficult, hard, and not fun. It's been a hard path, and to go natural is really, really exciting to me. I don't want a quick fix. I want something that's sustainable for the rest of my life. That's why I love how you say you don't go for the highs and the lows or anything that's not natural. And you're just doing phenomenal work, Tom. And I'm just so happy that I've traveled in circles to find a person like you that can heal people that want to be healed. And you're just doing great work. And I'm excited to dive in. And I guess the first step will be my consultation, which is a 15-minute consultation. What should I expect for that? And how should I prepare? Or we just an open conversation like this, and you ask me some questions.
Well, this kind of feels like it's become our initial.
Okay, we call it that.
And then we will go to an intake where I'll actually ask you specific questions off the intake form. And I like to have you go through the intake form as well, write answers in a short form. That just is enough of an outline for yourself that will trigger you to be able to tell me your situation based on some of, those questions. And we can do that live as part of this show and podcast.
Perfect.
The next unit or the next segment. Thinking on the extremes, I'll tell you as well where I'm coming from. If I were to hold up a quarter, which I don't have one, do you have a quarter? If I held up a quarter and asked you how many sides are on a quarter, 99.9% of people are going to say that there's two sides on the quarter, a heads and a tails. A lot of times that's, Republican and Democrat. That's vegan to, full carnivore. That's, I speak English and the other person speaks Spanish. And it's always at these extremes. And we live in a world or a society where everybody's been told they have to pick one side or another. They have to pick a belief system. But if you look at a quarter and you lay it flat, there's that rim that goes all the way around. That's, has the ribs in it, but it's the border all the way around the quarter. And that's my mentality. So that's where I'm coming from. It's looking outside the box. It's looking at the third side of the quarter. We're not picking from one extreme to the other extreme. We're going to pick what's right, what's obvious, what's in front of our face, and what works based on science, on observation, on trial and error, on evidence-based results. And we're not making decisions based on published scientific papers that have been long bought and paid for, that have some sort of double-blinded, but you can see the funding, you can see the research, and you can pull up two papers in a row, and one's going to say this benefits you, and the other one's going to say it's poison. And we're going to throw out the dollar value behind it. And so we're going to take money out of the equation, and we're going to make decisions based on health and on profits. And that's rare. That's a gift I offer my clients. And we're not going to get caught up in trends and traps and cons and dupes and sales pitches and people just trying to sell a product. Because anytime you go to a health conference or a technology conference or whatever it may be, from real estate to law to insurance, whatever profession or whatever your hobby is, everybody's trying to tell you that their product is the newest, the latest, and the greatest, and that you need to choose their product. And people just have an innate reaction to believe them and to buy the product. And instead of it slowly helping them, it's slowly poisoning them. So I'm going to urge you, Greg, people in the audience, to resist this. We're going to stick to this is what's in the course, and that's what we're going to do. Even if somebody says, this is great for your heart, or Greg, this will grow your hair in 2 days. We're not going to fall for those traps anymore. We're going to stick on the program because this program will slowly build. When I say coach, Greg, what I'm talking about is I'm not your elementary basketball coach or your elementary piano coach or elementary sports coach where they say, everybody's going to make the team. There's no cuts. Everybody makes the team. Everybody's going to play the equal amount of time. Everybody's going to play every position, and we're not going to keep scoring. Everybody's a winner. That's what other, nutrition coaches are. That's what people that are going to tell you what you want to hear just to protect their profits and their pay. We'll leave that to them. I'm like, this is the first day of basketball, and you play for the Miami Heat, and we're going to win the NBA championship. And I'm going to put together, a 9-month to 18-month, but it's a lifestyle. I'm going to put together an entire program, and it's going to be hard at first, and you're not going to know, why am I doing this? I'm going to tell you, but you're going to slowly see that everything builds on each other, and then eventually it becomes second nature. It becomes muscle memory. It becomes a routine. So we're going to establish a routine, and we're not putting you on a diet. We're not putting you on a cleanse. We're putting you on a lifestyle, and we're creating routines, and we're creating, your ability for your brain to consume this information and these products and these foods and to feel healthy and to live an optimal lifestyle and to live to your full potential.
Wow. Wow. You get me empowered just thinking about all this stuff, man. Wow. Well, the good news is I'm very open to it. I want to do it. I'm willing to be accountable. And you've committed to help me. I feel good. We got my little consultation going. I'm excited to see the intake form and really give you some deep information on myself, some stuff that I just don't say off the cuff, but that I thought about and wrote down. I'm actually excited to prepare the foods daily, actually. I think I'm going to use that as some form of therapy that, I'm vetting what I'm buying. I'm trying to buy local. I'm trying to buy regenerative, organic. I'm preparing it in a healthy way, and I'm bringing it with me, and that will stop, a lot of the triggers and eventually the cravings and the guilty pleasures because I have access to my own food. I love that you provide a book that something specific comes up. I can turn to that page, really get the information. I have access to you to contact you. I want to start doing some weigh-ins, that way I can show proof of concept in a physical nature. So this is, and I've seen you, help people with the mystery symptoms, with the chronic illness, with the autoimmune, with the weight before. So I actually, from my side, seen proof of concept. I've seen you do it. Finally, you happen to be in Florida, locked you down. So let's really document it. Let's show how I can make it work and what tricks and what hints I can give to make it easier in my journey, that someone can see something, and then my dream is for people to see that and then we do their own version of it, and we build a database of how to make this as easy as possible. And it's just, you're doing phenomenal work, and you live by it, and it's amazing. And I say we reconvene with the intake, and I'm actually inspired to go shopping. So I'm going to go buy all the groceries that you recommend. I'd love to show what my fridge looks like to give people an inside hint there, and then start the process of what I'm eating, what supplements, what stuff I should use for my teeth, and other tricks, working out, eye exercises, kind of like run the whole gauntlet of every little thing you should do and how you could turn that into a fun, positive routine. I'd like to honestly document when the sun comes up and the moon comes out, maybe, just to get deeper perspective and see the more miracle in my day, kind of use that as a part of my day to wake up and feel thankful and drink the lemon water and the celery juice and then the smoothie and the fruits into the steamed vegetables at night. Like, this is like really an uplifting, inspiring thought. And I appreciate you bringing this program to the public. And any last words out there for anyone struggling, anyone hurting, anyone looking for a new way of life?
In a world of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. And I plan, Greg, on telling you the truth. And if we're doing shows like this, telling the audience the truth. And by speaking our truths and our authentic selves, I think that together we're going to, accomplish a lot of things and get to your goals. So I'll speak to the audience out there. If you have, weight issues, if you have mystery symptoms, chronic illness, an autoimmune diagnosis, or mental health issues that you need to address, then I urge you to go to Sproutstanding.com or Sproutstanding.com/Greg. Look at the information that's provided there, enroll, and then I will become your coach and we can do one-on-one sessions like this. And you can learn from the lifestyle human body instruction manual how you can overcome those obstacles and how you can live to your full potential.
There you go. You heard it here. Time to get healthy. Time to feel amazing. Time to enjoy our lives. Tom, thanks for coming on. Thanks for personally helping me. Thanks for helping me share this with the world. And if you're out there and you're ready to feel amazing, take it to another level or change what you're doing, elevate your frequency and your vibration to a state of enlightenment, follow our journey. Go to Sproutstanding.com/Greg and be about that Sprout Standing life.
Have a Sproutstanding day. Aloha.